Dowell.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Pretty happy.
That's awesome. Wow, how long has it been since you've been on?
Actually, a year. My measure of time is through broken relationships, and I believe there's been 2.
Oh my god. Really? Has it been that long? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. There's something weird going on. I'm sorry. I can't hear me at all.
I can, and it's such a pleasure.
Wait, are you in 2 or 3?
2. Check. Yeah, mine's a little muffled.
No, it must just be your headphones because I can hear you perfectly clear.
Really? Am I going that deaf?
You might be. You've drummed way too hard in
I
your
know.
life.
I think, see, that's better now for
I
me.
think I've seen a good 10 years of it too.
Am I too loud now for you guys?
No.
No?
No?
Okay.
Boost you up a bit more if you
Yeah,
like.
go up a bit more. This is weird.
Am I loud? I can hear myself breathe. It's creepy, but kind of enjoyable.
2. Yeah, that's perfect now. As long as I'm not too loud for you guys.
No, you're wonderful.
Okay, that's good. That's perfect. That's perfect for me.
Yeah?
First of all, congrats on the feature. Sorry.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, congrats on the feature, by the way.
Thank you.
Hey, I was waiting for you to come out with a podcast, and you fucking did it.
You were our inspo.
Yeah?
You empowered us.
Well, what did we
I'm
do?
actually serious. You actually helped us so much.
Yeah, I remember that, because you recorded like a couple of test ones at Sumo when we were back there.
Yeah, and you were super
Yeah.
supportive and just let us use all your gear, which I was very blown away by.
Well,
And then you listened to them and complimented us.
I don't remember complimenting you, but yeah.
I do. I jerk off to it. I masturbate to that every night.
Oh my god! But yet you're one of the few people that followed through with the podcast thing,
I
and
just-
to actually release it as well. That's a huge.
Well,
That's a
one of
big
the
thing.
things we were waiting on was the theme song.
Mm.
Because I had this idea for a theme song and my sister and I started writing it. And then she's a bit of she's a space cadet on stuff that isn't a priority to her. So it took a little while to manifest. And then when she did it, of course, it was epic.
Yeah, that's cool. Because I remember you were waiting on a theme song at the time.
I needed a theme song.
Yeah.
Every superhero needs a theme song.
It suits perfectly as well. It suits totally perfect.
Thank you. Well, can I share with you what one of the original lyrics was
Sure.
that we had to change? This
Yeah.
is a bit of no, not that anyone will care, but you won't hear it anywhere else. So it was, fuck off and die. I hope you catch an STI.
I think I remember that.
And I was so
Yeah.
proud of that. But then my colleague, who is smarter than me, said that would be SDI shaming, which is true because I think it's like 80% of people have STIs.
We
So it's
talked
actually
about
really
this.
normal.
Totally. We talked about a lot of people having HPV or herpes. I mean, they don't know it, right?
And it's totally treatable. Well, you can't actually, you can't treat it per se, but you can live with it and have relationships and live an awesome sexual life with it.
yeah.
But I still think you might wish for your ex to have it if you don't like them.
Wait, is it true that some people have it and they don't know it? They just go through life and they never have symptoms, right?
Yeah. Well, apparently the symptoms at first can be really bad and then it will go away and then they'll sort of relapse.
Right.
Yeah. So it is totally possible that they don't know. But that's why I think after every person you have sex with, you should get a test. So you
Yeah.
know, even though it's scary.
Yeah, I've had one of those. I had a horrible doctor though. She was so old that when she called me to like verify the results,
Yeah.
she couldn't even like read the bit of paper.
Oh.
I kind of felt sorry for
Was
her.
she like, you have AIDS? I mean,
No.
you're clean.
Her opening line was, "You don't have AIDS." That was the first thing that she said when she picked up the phone.
You don't have AIDS. Well, that's
Yeah.
a real positive phone
I was like,
call.
she's like, surname? I was like, Sundai. And she's like, you don't have AIDS. And I was like, okay. Right. And she was like, yeah, if you want to come in and see the more in-depth thing, you can. I was like, okay.
Well, did you have anything? Well, you don't have to tell us.
No.
Did you have anything
I
else?
didn't have anything else, but it was like, why would you open with you don't have AIDS?
But because it's comedic.
Yeah,
I want to be her. Once I got an STI test and I called this guy who was sleeping with at the time and I said, I got to tell you something, Jake. And he's like, what? And he's from Danup. And I go, I've got AIDS. which isn't funny because like Hayes is serious, and he was like so worried, and I was like, and I waited a few beats, and I was like, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god! I thought you said you waited a few days.
No, just a few beats.
That's so cruel.
I know, but that's that kind of thing I enjoy. Is hurting people.
I really hope I'm not too loud this episode. No, I'm good.
Nah, we'll just turn you down. I
Yeah.
feel quiet.
You feel quiet
No,
now?
I feel quiet.
Oh, this is weird, man.
Right, who even are you, Tim?
Who are you? We've got a
I'm
Jeff
not even.
here.
I'm not
Jeff's,
even here.
Jeff's
Yeah,
back there.
Jeff's over there. So.
He's the other producer.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff's a reliable guy. It's a reliable name.
Anyone named Jeff, yeah, shit's getting done with Jeff. But holy fuck! So can I just ask you straight up?
Please do.
Have you gotten any like backlash from any of the things that you've podcasted about? Well, first of all, do you want to like give people a rundown on what it is? Because it's super super cool.
Thank you for saying that. I'll remember that as well as the other compliment.
This is so awkward.
So I just lean into the awkward. I just love it. It's like I get stronger. Like if I was a superhero,
Yes,
I
yeah,
would get stronger from awkward conversations.
yeah. But unfortunately, in social circles, we get into a bit of in a bit of strife,
In a
right?
bit of trouble.
Yeah,
but it's
because of our
okay
humour,
because
right?
we both consent. So our podcast is called Fuck Off and Die, and we offer crass comfort for people going through heartbreak. And it started off with a book, which I wrote when I was going through a big breakup because I got really sick of people telling me to sit under a tree and meditate. And when all I could do was cry, sort of couldn't get through a moment of the day, was out getting drunk, chain smoking to cope. And so I just wrote something that helped me. And then I roped in a friend of mine who I'd just met who was also going through a breakup, and she was an amazing artist called Jade Fu, and she came on board, and now we're in a beautiful partnership. I guess it's ironic because I have she's my longest relationship.
Yeah,
Nearly, actually, not quite. But my most successful one for sure. And it's just wonderful. Like we just do all this fun stuff. Like we made a photo booth a year ago that we launched at International Women's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a wedding photo booth, but not shit.
Yeah, not fucking naff as shit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Instead of like Mr. and Mrs., we have signs that say free as fuck or hotter than hell, and you can say fuck off and die to whatever you want to. So it doesn't have to be a partner.
Mm.
You know,
can be your boss.
oh
It
totally.
can be your co-worker.
Could be a bad habit of any kind, right?
100%.
Yeah,
A toxic habit, or even like I think some people were saying fuck off and die to like I don't know, mining or issues that upset them and stuff.
Yeah, or people who like get to the bottom of the escalator and stop. Like that could be one of those things.
That's
Right?
the most powerful one I've ever heard. You need to come next time. So and then so we set it up at gigs. Like we had last year we had a divorce party for the amazing Shannon Fox, who's a Perth DJ and absolute
Yeah, okay.
goddess.
Yeah.
And we set it up there, and it's velvet, and the backdrop is a velvet vagina, complete with a pom-pom clitoris,
Yes.
which is,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
you feel safe standing in front of a vagina, huge vagina.
I remember vaguely.
I feel safe sitting anyway. But
I remember vaguely you had a idea for an outfit that was made up of sausage rolls. Is that a real
No,
thing?
that was not my idea.
Was that Jade?
That was Bad Nutrition. And
Oh, that was bad. Okay,
I
sorry.
don't know if
Yeah.
I will talk about it.
Okay. No,
So
you don't
you-
have to. But
Oh, I'd love to. There's a band called Bad Nutrition, which is amazing. And they have a really good song called Sausage Roll. But then this girl comes on stage dressed as a sausage roll, and they actually bake meat into it, which I don't know about because I'm vegetarian, and I'm like, is anyone going to eat that meat?
yeah,
But
it's a lot of meat.
You got to love the commitment.
Yeah. Okay.
I wonder,
Sorry.
I'd like to know what she tastes like.
She tastes like a sausage roll,
sausage roll, yeah.
Tim.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's
You
fucking-
know what she tastes like.
Oh, that's fucking weird. Okay, so I totally botched that memory. Yeah, I think all my memories are just like I substitute characters in my head when I can't remember shit. So I
Sounds
thought
fun.
I just
Being
imagined
you.
making having a whole suit made of sausage rolls.
No.
No. Okay, that's sorry.
I did make an outfit for that, which was like, I got to DJ, which has been a dream of mine.
Okay.
And
yes,
I called
yes, that's right.
I
yes.
called myself DJ Deathwish, which was a pun. That's right, for Death Wish. And I
Sounds awesome.
it's
That's a
it's
good
pretty
That's actually a
silly.
good name.
DJ Deathwitch, and I had this veil, this big black veil, and I had all these like things stuck to it, like penises and vaginas, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
I realized a dream that night.
It sounds like a goth DJ.
I was a goth DJ.
Okay, there you go.
I looked like a goth bride.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
That's fucking
I
awesome.
thought it was cool.
So to make I'm going to tie a knot on this. So my initial question was, have you had anyone pissed off about your podcast?
Oh my god, no.
No?
Not yet. We probably don't
that's
have a
good,
big enough
that's good.
audience. We had a couple of 1-star ratings on
all right.
iTunes, and that
That's
actually
still a rating? That's still
But
good.
it really upset me.
Oh, okay.
And then I realized I have some problems.
Like
You know?
self-esteem problems? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was messaging all my friends to rate it 5 stars to bring it up. And I was like, and Jade goes, yeah, I think you need to talk to your therapist about this. I'm like, I know.
Yeah. We need like 5 positive to weigh out 1 negative, right?
Well, there's like, I was like, I'm sure it's one of my exes. And Jade's like, no, Sarah, I think there's like more than 1-star review. So it can't just be, I'm like, they've made multiple accounts.
That's a lot of effort to go through.
I know, no one did that. They just didn't like it, which is fine.
That's fine. I mean, hey, a rating's a rating, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that
If you're going to give it a rating, give it a good rating.
Yeah.
I just take satisfaction in the fact that knowing that all of my friends don't listen to the podcast. So.
It's all right. We have that too with our podcast.
Yeah.
all of my Facebook friends that call me Tim.
Mm.
I know your name's not Tim.
Yeah.
I think I'm dyslexic.
No, well,
I
I think it's the text. It's because it's so close together, the
Yeah.
T and the M, and
I know your name's Johnny, but it's just that my mind, when I see you, I'm like, don't call him Tim. Don't call him Tim. And then I'm like, just don't say anything.
it's good. It's a good running joke.
Phoenix,
it?
Phoenix Tim.
That's what I think his
That's
name
what you thought it was, right? Because of the TM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But aren't we all having a great time at Johnny's expense?
Like this
Well,
is
that's why I had to change. I changed my Instagram handle to real name is Johnny.
Are you no, you didn't.
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That is the most like blue tick corporate thing
Because
I've ever heard.
I think I'm your Facebook friend. I don't think we're on Instagram
yeah.
together.
Well, that's a whole nother. Yeah, that's a whole.
Well,
nother
jump
rabbit
ship
hole.
because I'm about ready to delete everyone off Facebook because, well, no, I think everyone's
Don't do
deleting me
it.
because I've pissed off a lot of people on Facebook.
Really?
You haven't pissed me off. I probably unfollowed you a long time ago. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, I jumped ship from Facebook completely. Yeah, but
I noticed that.
Yeah, but it's literally because of the platform. It's nothing to do with anything else. Yeah.
For me, it's a community.
Mm. Okay.
I don't want to go into it
Yeah.
because I'll piss more people off.
Well, do
What community?
you mean just like when you say something wrong that people kind of jump in? And,
I've been refraining from doing a big rant on Facebook, like posting a big rant about cyberbullying and how a lot of I feel like there's a big cyberbullying aspect in the Facebook community.
but it's
where-
very subtle.
It's
Like,
very
really
subtle.
subtle. Yeah. okay,
where
yeah.
because there's a majority of users on Facebook that conform to one idea or one side, let's say, and if someone has an opposing view, that person will essentially use the support of their peers, their friends, to shut down that person.
Yeah, I did read a really
it
good
feels like
article about that, about how social media doesn't encourage open conversation. It just becomes one comment after another rather than like a discourse where we can actually talk through things.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it that I do find difficult is that if you don't like something that you read, and I'm not like a right-wing person at all, but people will often say, oh, that person's a bigot or that person's this or that. And to me, like 101 of understanding and changing someone's mind perhaps is to understand their argument.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like that happens.
No. I don't think that's
And
happening. No.
so I think that's a pity.
It's a shame, yeah. And you know, I'm guilty of it too. We all have sides. We all have our, I guess, identity thrown into the mix. But it's this, like you're right. It's the kind of, getting people, like tagging other people to come in. Let's destroy this guy.
Oh, I didn't know people did that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like people do that. Yeah, and like
Yes.
like just for having something that lies a little to the outside of the narrative at the
Mm.
moment, or maybe you're just asking questions. Like people just don't like
Yeah.
certain buttons being pushed.
Well, I mean,
think.
we
Yeah.
it like to me, I see a lot of virtue signaling going on where people need to jump in to sort of solidify that their part, like they support it all,
yeah.
and just like, well.
Yeah, I get that.
But then you
Yeah.
get the other side as well. There's a lot of people on Facebook that are posting, like, let's say, right wing stuff, but they don't get as much following. I think because people get scared to show that they support that idea
Yeah, I think
for fear of being called out by the.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the Facebook
No.
police.
The
Yeah.
Facebook. I think
Yeah.
the main thing that, like, I don't know, and I don't know about the term virtue signaling yet, because I think if they authentically feel that way, like, that's okay. I mean, I guess if you're, the word espousing is even negative. If you're sharing a view that you're just sharing for the sake of appearances, then I guess that's virtue signaling. But it's hard to know what's behind what someone is
Yeah,
posting
yeah.
because they could really genuinely
Exactly, it's the intention.
believe that.
It's the intention, I think. Yeah, but there's definitely a culture of people that, I don't know, there's this very shallow way where they're just kind of adopting whatever
Whatever's around.
to kind of just to get that approval that, you know, that they lean one way or the other. And it's happening on both sides. This is not like a one-side thing.
Yeah.
I think everyone does it naturally as well as a survival mechanism
Yeah.
socially, that you have to show that you're
way of-
that you're either on this or that. But that's the one thing that you're right. Yeah, there's no actual discussion. It's kind of a witch hunt on all fronts, you know,
Yeah,
at the moment.
no matter what side you're on.
People are
I
very
think-
snappy. Emotions are very high.
Yeah.
Understandably,
Yeah.
this is a very fucking weird time.
It is an outlet.
It's a
Yeah.
very in my opinion, this is like history.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be writing about this sort of period for a long time.
Or they're going to erase it from history and
They're
we'll never
going
know
to
what
block,
happened.
block it. Yeah.
They'll censor it and remove it from
Yeah,
history.
yeah.
Never happened.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I don't like with social media at the moment is the shaming. And I think that's what, you know, like I had someone the other day saying, white people, your silence is really loud. And I thought, well, you know, not everyone expresses their support through social media. Like some people might be donating money.
Yeah.
Some people might be having conversations with their relatives and friends. And we have to remember that it's not all social media that we make change with, and that, you know, some people like could be out in the world working for Black Lives Matter organizations. And I was just a little bit disappointed, and I did sort of unfollow her for 30 days. I didn't unfollow her completely, but I was like, oh, don't shame people for not posting on social media because that's not okay.
This is what we've had discussions on. Boy, I've got to hold back on that because there's so much that one's. No,
I didn't
in a good
post
way.
my black square, so hate me.
Oh,
Well,
really?
even that,
Yeah.
that was difficult because then some poor people, they post the black square and they got, you know, shamed for posting a black square.
It goes both
And
ways.
it's
Goes
like,
both
well,
ways, right? Yeah.
It's intention. And if those people were doing it to help and support the cause, that's what matters. You know, and some people were saying, oh, you're taking away from black voices by posting that black square. And I just thought, well, I just think it all comes down to authenticity and intention.
I think this is a very like complex like time that we're in, and I think whatever way people choose to process in their own way,
Yeah.
we should not be judging that, even if it is silence and introspection and thinking,
Yeah.
and like
If you're someone that, say, never has dealt with the issue in your mind before and you're silent while you're looking into it and researching and gathering information, which a lot of people do, especially introverts, before they speak out or before, you know, they make a stand.
But it feels like no one accepts that. Like you're not allowed to be quiet and look into things. You just have to follow the leader and start yelling and screaming and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I
I don't know.
think,
Like feels.
yeah, I think the people that you think are saying that are the people that are vocal. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a bit of a loop because plenty of people understand that you can take time to understand something before you decide to speak out. Like, I mean, I am someone who has a Jewish heritage and I took a long time to really understand the history. Like it probably took me, 10 years, including going to Israel and understanding what went on there. Now I can speak semi-confidently about that stuff, but it's taken a long time for me to understand it, and I'm not ashamed of that. It's just I wanted to get educated before I spoke.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about Israel.
Oh no,
I
I
wanna
shouldn't
ask
have
you
brought it
about
up.
Israel.
This is my one trigger
But
point.
I do want
seriously.
to point out that I do have black African blood in me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the right to use the N word.
What?
Nando's,
Oh, right.
that Portuguese chicken is great.
Oh wow.
What?
You just did that.
I do actually have African blood in me. I was trying to make
Yeah.
a bad joke. I'm
It
so
was-
bad
and
at
you
jokes.
did make a bad joke. You succeeded.
What was Israel like? Like,
Oh, thank you for asking.
No, can we
That's
ask?
so-
Can we talk about?
I
there's-
get a bit stressed because I have been attacked many times in my life. Oh, people go all the time. They come up to me and they go, "When are you going to get out of Palestine?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, hi."
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It's an interesting place. Like, there's a lot of history. It's very small, very small. And I went on a tour that went through sort of all of the major. It was an insane tour. I went with my parents. So my parents are very political. And so it ended up being this tour with these like ex-CIA and FBI agents. And we went to all the borders and talked to the IDF and talked to all sorts of people, you know. And it was really interesting, just the geography of it and seeing the vantage points. So areas of disputed land where, you know, during the 6-Day War, Israel had defended itself and managed to take land that I think, was it Syria, or I can't remember. I'm really bad at remembering the actual specifics of the and then obviously the other side are wanting to take that land back and saying it's occupied. But like, if they did, then they could so easily, like, you could see Tel Aviv from the vantage point, like it's a stone's throw. And unfortunately, everyone around Israel wants it not to exist, which is
Tel
pretty.
Aviv. Sorry, what don't they want to exist?
Oh, Israel.
Oh, Israel. Oh,
So all the Arab countries around Israel don't want it to exist. So they have
the
like
whole country itself.
they don't believe Israel should exist, basically, except for Jordan. They've got like a treaty with Jordan, and they supply Jordan with a whole lot of water to help it, because Israel is at the sort of forefront of innovation in terms of agriculture and irrigation. That's why when you look at a map of Israel from the sky, you can see like it's a green, very lush place, whereas all the Arab countries around it are desert.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, even not many people know that, you know, Israel gave Palestine back to the Palestinians. And as soon as that happened, Hamas took over, which is like an internationally recognized terrorist group who don't care about the people at all. And it's really sad because their standard of living has gone down horrifically.
Yeah. See, this is stuff that is awesome because I
Yeah, it was interesting to go there and to see it and talk
but
to
just
Arab
to hear,
people.
just to
and-
hear your point of view, because we
Oh.
no, it's true, because we don't we need a whole palette of colors to paint from. Like,
Yeah.
we need everyone's story thrown in the mix.
But what do you say? Like, his story, like, isn't that where the world began?
Well, I don't know,
Kind
but
of
I
like-
mean, Israel was always part, you know, for thousands of years, Jewish people lived in Israel, and then, you know, the Holocaust happened, and all of these Israelis across the world, including Israelis, all of these Jewish people across the world, including Jewish people in Germany, were displaced. So they got given back this tiny sliver of land. And the interesting thing that I didn't know was that they never told the Arabs that they had to leave. The Arab leaders said to their people, you need to leave because the Jewish people will eat your babies. And they had this sort of propaganda. So all the Arabs left, and the leader said, you will be able to come back sometime. But then they couldn't. So no one ever said, this is Jewish land, all the Arabs have to fuck off. They were all allowed to live together. And even now, you know, there's Arabs on the High Court. There was the Miss Israel was Arab. You know, there are more women in Israel that drive tanks than drive cars in the whole of the Middle East. So
Oh, some of the girls in the Israeli army. I've got a whole Instagram hashtag of the Israeli
of
girls.
well, that's the thing I don't get, is that people that you know, it's a very, I'm not a conservative person. I just sort of go with what's logical. And I guess because I have a Jewish history, I looked into it. But I never understood why people support the Arab countries around it, because they have such a horrible track record of human rights. The way they treat women is horrific. And even just bringing it back to a human rights level, why would you support those countries when, like, Israel is a democracy, women have rights, women can have an education. The Arabs that live there, who I spoke to, said to me, we have better, we are more respected at work, we have better wages, our families are better taken care of, our daughters can have an education. You know, Arabs live in harmony with Israeli Jewish people. And I actually just don't get it. Like, my brain doesn't get it, but I know this sounds like one of those annoying things to say, but I think there's a lot of misinformation about what's happening in the Middle East.
Yeah. Well, the Middle East is forever in conflict. But do you think this is more a thing perpetrated by governments rather than the people?
I think that the Arabs are victims of their leaders, and they don't think Israel has a right to exist. They don't think Jews have the right to exist, and that's why no negotiation will ever work. Because
Right.
if you don't believe that people have a right to exist, where's the starting point for a negotiation?
Yeah. But once again, do you think that's really a top-down thing, or is it like
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're victims. I think the people in those countries are victims of their leaders. Like, when I was on the border of Israel and Lebanon used to be like, they called it the Paris of the Middle East. People would go travel. And this town, we were talking to the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, and they were saying basically they went into the town, the Hezbollah, which is the terrorist group on the other side. So there's Hamas on one side, Hezbollah on the other side. And they told everyone in the town, you have to leave, because they wanted to take over the town in order to be able to sort of man the border. And those that didn't leave, they hanged them. And then you look down at the town, like I could see it from a kibbutz that I was on down the hill, and like they had smashed all the windows out of the bottom stories of the houses, and they were just sort of there watching because there's so much tension on the borders. Yeah, it was pretty weird to see it.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because I think about it because I've wanted to go to Israel.
Yeah, you should go. It's pretty cool.
Well, I'm scared to go there now.
Because of COVID.
Well, no, it's just because of all the political shit and stuff that's going on.
There's always something going on, but I can tell you one thing is that I felt safer there than when I was in America, because everyone there does the army, and you walk around and there's army everywhere. They have so many security systems in place. Like, there's no bins that aren't see-through because of bombs and things like that.
Wow.
I did see missiles though come over from Syria, which is
Shit.
Over
so
the
intense.
Iron Dome.
Yeah, I saw the Iron Dome shoot
Developed by
missiles
Raytheon.
down.
Developed by who? Raytheon.
Why
do they always
help develop the
Who's
Iron Dome?
Raytheon?
Raytheon's they're a private military contractor.
Big
Yeah.
military, yeah.
It was the most intense thing I've ever seen in my life, because I'm a really light sleeper. So I was in Tiberias, which is a town on the border of Israel and Syria, and I could hear this siren. So I woke up and I looked out, and there was these like lights coming towards us. And because, like I said, the people on our tour were like ex-army, I thought, well, there's no alarms going off, because Israel, one of the reasons why people often don't die when there's attacks on Israel is because they have amazing security. So everyone on the border has bomb shelters because they want to take advantage of every square meter of their land. And so I thought, there's no alarms going off, I'm probably safe. And then I heard this army guy go, oh, we're out of range. And I saw the missiles come over and then get exploded in midair, because so the Iron Dome detects Iron Dome detects where the missiles will land. And so what happened was, it turned out Iran had shot from Syria 30, I think it was 34 or 36 missiles into Israel. Only 4 had made it through, so they just sort of bombed themselves. But it
That's
was
some
weird
real shit.
watching it.
You saw a missile blow up?
I saw 4 missiles blow up. So I was just watching them and I thought, what do I do? So I called my parents, because they were in the same hotel. I was like, this is happening. They were asleep. They didn't know. And then I messaged my brother and sister, and I just packed a bag. And then I was just laying in bed watching, and I just had tears streaming down my face, but it was just like a bodily reaction. And the next day I was in the pool at the hotel, and I was talking to the lifeguard, and I was like, I saw missiles. And he was like, oh, yeah, it's fine. I smoke weed. The Israelis smoke a lot of weed. They're like, oh, yeah, well, me and my brother, we sit on the roof smoking weed, looking at the missiles go over. And I was like, oh, my God, how do you live like this?
Oh, my God.
It's so stressful.
That's crazy.
This is their way of life.
Holy fuck.
But that's
insane
why
to
it's
think,
such a
yeah.
vibrant place because they're really in touch with the fact they could just fucking die. Oh, sorry.
That's
But that's the thing to think
Die
that
at any
there's
moment.
there's a place in the world where that shit
Where
happens.
that
Yeah.
shit. Well,
Like,
we always talk about the Gaza Strip and all that, so the
Yeah.
crazies. Yeah, and everyone knows Krav Maga. That's fucking sick, man.
Israelis are pretty hardcore.
That's fucking sick.
I'm
I want,
pretty-
I want to go smoke a joint on the rooftop of Israel watching the fucking bombs.
my
get-
God.
Fuck, that's
Would we like realistic? Like, would I be allowed there?
Why wouldn't you be?
I don't know, I just
They're so open and
Okay, yeah.
multicultural. They have gay pride parades.
Okay, cool.
Of course, you would be welcome there.
Right, cool.
And they're so fun. Like Tel Aviv.
we gotta go, man. That's like the
Yeah.
motherlands, right?
I've been asking. I've been like for the last 2 years. I've been saying to people like, I want to go to Tel Aviv. My parents say no,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to go to Tel Aviv.
You'll be fine.
because I know I try and sneak into the Gaza Strip just because I want to see what it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I don't know if. Yeah, it's interesting. I went to the border of the Gaza Strip and.
They've got like the big kill zone. It's like pretty. It's pretty much like a
Yeah.
prison, isn't it? Like they got a fence with
Well,
the
it's
500k
when
kill zone.
yeah, there's a
and-
fence there, but then inside, I didn't go inside, but I saw it from a kibbutz on the border, and I guess
I love hearing you say kibbutz. Anyway, go on.
I don't know. I guess you could go in. I don't know.
But like I've always heard that the West Bank and Gaza is essentially a prison city. Like it's
The
built,
West.
it's built like a prison. The UN runs the waste disposal. They got that big fence around it with the
NATO?
kill zone, like any prison.
I
NATO,
don't think
no,
it's really like a
UN.
prison. Like it's if you look at footage of it, like it's just like a town.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was
well, yeah.
run pretty well, I think, when the Israelis ran it. I mean, even though that sounds counterintuitive because they cared about the people, but
But why
Hamas
do they-
apparently
why do they need a fence around it? But
because they don't want them to come into Israel.
Right.
so they've locked them.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean,
can't you just because it's on the coast? Can't you just like swim out and around and?
I don't know.
It's it. It is. It's on the coast of Israel. Like Tel
Yeah.
Aviv is north, and then West Bank's down. You could just go into the ocean,
Hmm.
swim out, and then
Yeah.
can you just walk along the beach? And does the fence go?
Well,
to
they're
the-
not prisoners. Like, they could go into all the countries around it, but those Arab countries don't let them in either. And I think that's something that maybe isn't mentioned. And also, there's a lot of terrorists in that area. Like I said, it's actually ruled by Hamas, which is an internationally recognized terrorist group. It's not like a conspiracy or anything like that. And they constantly attack Israel, and then Israel defends itself. And unfortunately, Hamas, they position themselves in hospitals and schools and places where the public are because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
actually care about the people. So before Israel defend itself, they actually drop flyers on those spaces and say, get out. You need to get out. We're going to bomb you. And I just think there's a double standard where for some reason people hold Israel to a higher standard than any other country. If Australia was getting bombed by people, I don't think we'd drop flyers on them before we retaliated and defended ourselves. I mean, Israel's not perfect and its people know that. They're very critical of their government. But I think Israel is given a really bad rap, and it's sad. And I actually think it's anti-Semitic.
Okay. You think there's like a
I think there's a big
coordinated-
anti-Semitism in the world. I used to work in a Jewish business in Perth, and we have to have really high security. We had people graffitiing anti-Semitic material on the buildings around us, and my friends would say, "Oh, that doesn't happen." I'm like, "No, it does. I don't think you realize people have always hated the Jews." I think.
Yeah, I've seen it online for the first time. You know, like just a random note, like a video game copped a lot of flack lately called The Last of Us 2, but the developer was Jewish.
Yeah.
And they hit him, like 99% of the remarks about the game
Yeah.
were about
Him
him
being
being a Jew.
Yeah.
Like rather than the game, it was an attack on him being a greedy person. You know?
Well, even in like the Charlottesville riots, where they were highly racist. Like when you watch Black and Klansman, the footage from that rally was them saying the Jews will not replace us. The Jews will not replace us. So they hate black people just as much as they hate the Jews, the KKK.
So is that our free half hour? Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't know we were
Christ.
going to start. And I also hope I don't sound.
No.
I find it really hard to talk about because I feel like I'm not. You can always be more articulate and more knowledgeable.
I totally get it. Yeah, it's
And-
one of those subjects where it's like you're never going to do it justice. almost, because it's so complex, it's so nuanced.
Yeah.
There's so much history behind it.
Well, that's the main
No.
thing, is that history of that place.
Mm.
Because there was a photo of you went through like the canyons that had like the big things like carved, like big buildings and stuff carved in the mountains. Is that where was that in Israel?
I haven't seen it.
Or was I thinking?
Is it like Mount Rushmore?
No. Like, remember in Indiana Jones, where they go through the big.
Oh no, that's in Jordan, I think.
That's Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's Jordan.
okay. Same
It looks pretty cool. I watched that the other day.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that episode.
I-
and the Temple
oh
of
my
not
God.
the Temple of Doom, the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
I missed out on so many. Yeah. Okay.
There's still time.
Yeah, totally. I've got to get into all that. There's so many fucking movies that I haven't seen.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've got to get my ass into gear.
But bringing it back, I do actually really appreciate that you guys just asked me about it, because not
No,
many
because-
people do. Like, it's really rare, and
Well, we're
I like having the opportunity to
that's
Well,
awesome,
I'm
yeah.
more upset that you didn't invite me along. 'Cause,
go on a holiday with my parents.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Was that all right dealing with mum and dad?
Oh, well, let's just say they're divorced now.
Really?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
I didn't know
They
that.
did. They got divorced. It's fine. Dad's Dad's dating someone new.
Okay.
So my family's meeting her for the first time on Sunday. I've met her before, and I messaged my brother. I said,
Was this like recently?
over a year ago. So I messaged my brother and I said, "Oh, are you excited to meet your new mom on Sunday?" And he was like, "Oh, that's a weird thing to say." I was like, "It was just a joke."
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's better to split up than be in an unhappy relationship.
Of course.
And Dad seems a lot happier. Like, he used to be really awful to waiters, and now he's not.
Have I had dinner with you? I think I've had dinner with your dad around.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He really likes going out to dinner.
He's a super chill dude, though.
He's super chill. But I think he had a lot of, not that there's any excuse, I think he had a lot of repression from, like, being in that relationship. So
Okay. Highly skilled dude. Why are we talking about? We're going to go through his...
go my dad.
should we get him on the phone? Should we call him up?
He would love that. He's at the movie. Apparently he's watching something about, it's a movie with a title of Sarah or something in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Man, like it goes. Look, man, like things can change anytime. Like there's no
Yeah.
it's you're so right. Like the amount of toxic relationships that people go through, and especially in that generation, right, where they just
Yeah.
feel like there's no other option but to stay together, and they
because
just
they're Catholic.
they just stay together, for the greater good of the children or whatever. But it's not worth
Then
it if
the
you're not
children
happy.
are older and just like,
Yeah, I don't care. I'm like, oh God, I don't
I care
even
about my parents' happiness more than a relationship. You know what I mean?
And I guess sometimes I think, oh, we're too old to make a change. But I'm like, no, you're never too fucking old.
Yeah.
Because your life matters.
I posted something not long ago. Like, there's this idea that between 20 and 30 is some prime. It's so bullshit.
I
That's
think
not
20
your prime.
and 30 is when you make all your mistakes.
Exactly,
And you're
yeah.
a fucking dickhead.
Yep.
30 plus has been the best.
Yeah. 30 plus, and finding love at 40 is fine.
Yeah.
You
can do it. I
You
mean,
can
I don't know, I'm
totally
not
do it.
40, but I'm hoping.
It's round the corner.
But no, it's
Oh,
not,
shit.
Daz. That's not around
Well,
the
I'd-
corner.
Are you older or younger?
Wait, I'm turning 35 this month.
Oh, okay.
I'm turning 36 this month.
Right. Okay.
Well, how old are you? You're younger.
30. I forgot. 34?
Oh,
I'm
well, you're not
34.
nearly 40. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, no,
what would
actually,
you-
I had that crisis the other day, thinking I'm turning 36 this year. I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's
It's
a
fine.
weird time.
It's fine. The
It's fine.
the running out of time is an illusion. I think
I think so.
a lot of it.
I
is.
think I had that crisis a lot the first part of this year, and then I worked through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worrying about running out of time.
I was hoping to join the 27 club, but I didn't make it.
But do you know why? Because you have to be a really talented artist to join that club. Get off the ground. Get off the moist grass,
That
Tim.
is fucking. This is why we need Sarah on all the time. Sorry.
That is
So I
true.
can
Well,
be me.
I can't argue it. So.
That is so awesome.
I apologize.
No, please. Wait. Fuck. I'm just gonna. If I look like I'm looking at my phone, it's because
you are looking at your phone.
I am looking at my phone. But I have some things here. Sorry to.
Are we gonna talk
He's on Pornhub.
Pornhub? No,
No,
pod.
no. Oh no! I wanted to talk about the podcast direction.
Yeah,
because this is really cool. You got a feature on on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
That's fucking awesome.
And I think it was because we joined a network.
You joined a network.
Yes.
Okay.
So then it was just like, goes without saying that
Yeah,
all
okay.
of their new podcasts get featured. I don't want to diminish us. We're still awesome and amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
And we didn't think we would get featured because of our name.
Right.
Because our name
Well,
is Fuck Off and Die, which sounds intense, right?
I'm trying to silence because I just trying to. I've already made some bad jokes tonight, so I'm just gonna.
It's okay.
be quiet.
Keep going. We like it. It makes us feel good about ourselves.
How much did you sell out for?
Oh, do you know what? I'm so excited to sell out. I've never been happier. So we have ads on our podcast now.
Yeah.
But we
We did that.
We did that for a
had
long
ads,
time.
Yeah.
Free
We were
advertising.
pushing Uber and shit like
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Yeah.
You were.
Hip Flask and
Hip Flask.
Hip Flask.
Yeah, they're like a Perth app, like a
Oh, cool.
events-based app.
But we did it all
What
for
else did we
free.
do?
We just we're helping people out.
That's really nice.
getting the
That's
names
not
out
selling
there.
out. That's like being cool, guys.
Yeah, we try and like chat. Like when we did the Hen House and Sumo, we were just like plugging those places as much as we could.
I think I'm more of blackmailing. Like we can use it later to
Blackmailing. What'd you have on them?
nothing.
Nothing.
We'll hope like that was
Maybe
my
you need
hope
a
that we could use them later on.
Little
But
crash course in
See,
blackmailing.
I'm gonna
This fucking little spy here, Tim.
stop. I'm getting.
What did you find out about Uber?
Nothing. What were we giving away? We were giving away like discounts on
Well, yeah,
rides.
Yeah, I
like the
remember
whole
that.
bonus. You know, you 10% off your first ride
and this
with
was
the code Mission Control podcast.
Yeah,
or
Mission
something
Control,
like
yeah,
that,
but-
Yeah, and I was like,
yeah.
Uber, that'll never.
That'll
kick
never
off.
take off. What a pipe dream that is.
Daryl, why are you pushing Uber? This was what, like 8 years ago, by the way. Because we were talking about how Daryl's ahead of everything.
Yeah, I don't ride the wave. I'm in front of the wave.
He's in front of the wave,
He
but
is the
too in
wave.
front of it, so he doesn't get any credit. It's a very lonely existence.
It is a very no. It is a curse being ahead, man.
Too ahead.
But I
if you're
don't
just a
want
little
credit.
bit ahead, you're cool. But if you're too ahead, you're like, oh, we forgot you were into that.
The good thing is I don't want credit. It's all good. As long as I want to see people
Because
thrive.
you're a Pisces.
I want people to. I want to see people thrive.
Don't lie.
Ew.
You want that yacht.
I want
You
that yacht.
I want the
I
yard.
You
want
want, your
them
own,
home.
you want your own island. And you want your own.
Yeah.
Do you want a pedophile island? Apparently, there's one going really cheap.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Ghislaine Maxwell's selling it.
Is it,
Fund her legal fees.
near Haiti?
Yeah, it's only accessible through submarine. Do you know she has a submarine license?
Really?
And a
Yes.
helicopter license.
Do you actually have a license for a submarine?
Yeah.
Do you have your L plates and you're on a submarine?
Well, the conspiracy is that the theory is that she does have a submarine license. So they think a lot of these bases are
Well,
underwater.
depends what
That's-
type of submarine, because you need some submarines you need an entire crew.
Hmm.
So she might have a marine license, but she needs a crew to
Possibly,
captain it.
yeah.
But
So
she does
she-
have a helicopter license,
Yeah.
so she can just fly her own
Because
helicopter.
the main reason is they want to get off the flight logs. So they either
Oh, okay. So
go
they
in through
learn.
water or helicopter.
Yeah.
I mean, submarines, that's my worst nightmare, to be submerged below all this water.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that
In a
idea.
little tube.
Is it
I
that,
hate it.
that movie, that old movie Down Periscope, like that comedy type one, where they put the piece of string like across the submarine from edge to edge, and it's tight, and the deeper and deeper they go, the slacker the rope gets.
Why?
Because the deeper you go, the more compression. So the actual
Oh my
submarine
God, that's
crushes.
terrifying.
And so and they're just
No.
looking at this string that when they started was
No.
taut is now just like because
Oh,
the
my
whole sides of
God.
the submarine have just
That's
squashed in.
so upsetting.
That
So
is
upsetting.
That's so weird.
What about that horrible thing where that poor reporter went in that submarine and that guy just chopped her up and then...
I did not hear about
Oh,
what?
it's
What?
horrible. It was in like, I can't remember which, it was in a Scandinavian country, and she's just this super intelligent woman who went and was covering a story about this really, I guess he's like Elon Musk, but a murderer. And she went on board and went under and then didn't come back. And her boyfriend was like, yeah, where is she? And the guy said that took her under, he'd made the submarine. So that was what the story was, that he'd built his own submarine. And he was like, yeah, we had a big accident and she drowned, blah, blah, blah. But then they found like parts of her
Holy
It was
fuck.
really sad
That is
because, like, we know, like, as a woman, obviously you're vulnerable.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
guess,
yeah.
like, don't get in submarines with people.
Don't get in cars, let alone a fucking
Yeah, let
submarine.
alone a submarine.
There's nowhere to go. Where's there to go if you want to escape?
Oh, it's so fucked.
You can swim up.
No, through the torpedo tube.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What a dickhead.
Yeah. So what? How did we get onto this? So no, I was actually talking about. So
I
you,
mentioned pedophile island, and then you mentioned
we need
submarine.
Sarah on all the time. So no, you got on a network.
Yeah, so we were
Yeah.
really lucky. We had this guy from he's from Lip Media.
Yep.
And they do podcasts by women and LGBTQ plus community.
Cool.
And so there's some really cool podcasts on that network. And they asked us to join, and then we were like, yes,
That's
I
so
do.
cool. That's
We
amazing.
will.
That's so amazing. Yeah, I have a vision in my head that works, but in practice it probably doesn't.
What's the vision?
I want everyone cross pollinating, even if you like really like are not, maybe don't align politically.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love seeing people do shit like that, but I don't know if that's even possible without some sort of a friction or something. But or maybe that's
Well,
too,
the friction is sort of what makes it interesting.
Exactly.
Like I think
that's what it is.
even when Jade and I have our podcast, she pretty much doesn't agree with me a lot, and I don't agree with her, and then we just argue,
Yeah.
and then that's kind of the podcast.
That's awesome.
Like
Yeah,
I think
that's
one of our first podcasts was her saying that it's okay to ghost people, and I was like, no,
What's that? You mean like
like
just stop-
ghosting. Like if you
stop talking
don't
to
like
people.
someone, you just don't talk to them anymore.
Right.
She was like, yeah, that's fine, and I was like, no, it's not, and I don't know who you are anymore.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Well, we disagree a lot on things.
I
as well,
ghost
you know.
Daryl all the time.
Like, you know, we like conspiracies are a pretty heated topic, but like there's some stuff that
Ooh.
that I'll think of that Johnny won't, or we don't.
Well,
Yeah.
align
that's
on
so.
a lot
I
of
was
things,
actually
you know?
I was thinking about this today. Well, not today, the other day as well. The whole conspiracy theory versus critical thinking, and how we get caught. Because you're asking it, you know, are we going to be talking conspiracies on the podcast? I don't feel that we talk about conspiracies, but we don't talk about them in a conspiracy way. Like, we don't preach a certain side of an idea. We literally just look at the two sides. We look at, you know, someone's saying this thing, someone's saying that thing. We discuss it, and we like, what are our opinions about it? Like, what do we think about it? And not literally saying, oh, it's all this, it's all, or it's all that.
Yeah. I guess as well, like, I think these days a lot of these so-called conspiracy theories are actually just true.
Well, yeah, exactly.
not even-
Conspiracy fact.
Like you were talking last time about the Tuskegee
Tuskegee experiment.
which
Yeah.
I knew nothing about, and then I listened to like a whole podcast on it the other day.
Yeah, I was seeing more shit about Tuskegee
And
the
it's
other
not
day.
even a conspiracy theory because like Bill Clinton acknowledged it and apologized.
Yeah.
And
to
that's why
people
people are
about
referencing
it.
a lot of stuff that's happening in Africa now, where they're actually testing vaccines in Africa, like essentially lining people up again and injecting
Oh
with
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're apparently doing vaccine tests, COVID vaccine tests in Perth as well. We get paid just over $2,000 over 2 years.
Well, so you get. I was
injected
going to say
and
you
stuff.
get inseminated by it, but that's the wrong word. You get. What's the word?
impregnated by-
Infected. Inseminated.
You get impregnated by COVID.
You have sex with someone who has COVID.
Well, that's the fucking the alien.
That's a way to do it. So you get infected. You have to purposefully get infected, and then you get
Well,
the
not,
vaccine.
no, they just give you the vaccine. It doesn't matter if you're infected or not.
Well, how
It's
are
just a
you?
trial,
How
right?
are you trialing it if you're not?
Well, if you die, then you die.
But
and
it
if you
doesn't- but
don't
it
But how
doesn't
is
work.
that working for the vaccine if you're not got it?
I don't know. It's just
I'm gonna feed my kids a cup of harden the fuck up every morning.
What does that mean?
It means
Does that mean you hit them?
no, of course not.
What does that mean?
I've no get a
Welcome back, Johnny.
get a bit sick. You know, allow
Well,
your
you can get
your
sick.
body to deal.
We're not saying you
with
can't
some
get
shit.
sick. We're just saying you don't need to get polio anymore because of science has
No,
done
get-
stuff
get
to
a
make it
little polio.
not there.
Lose a couple limbs.
It's good for your fucking
just-
self-esteem just to get a little bit of mild polio.
is polio really around?
Well,
is it like-
some people have got it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't know about in Australia, but
Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah. There's also the argument of the amount as well. Like, do you need 3, 4, 5, 7 booster shots? You know,
What was that
like,
thing that people were getting in China? That was like, the bubonic plague.
Yeah, that's
bubonic.
out
yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's come
Just
back.
a little bit of bubonic plague.
Yeah.
With your cereal in the morning.
Bubonics on tour in China.
Oh my God.
What date? What dates here? Yeah, I don't know. It just feels
I
like
hear they're really good live.
they're a metal band, right?
I don't know, are they? No.
But no. There's just this like I feel like there's a very like disease phobia now as well. Like anyone fucking sneezes, people are like,
Oh my God, yes. I was going to be blood taken today and I was like, because I might be getting CBD oil.
oh my god, what?
I know, right?
Do you smoke weed?
No, because it makes me anxious. But
Okay.
it doesn't have the THC in it, so you don't
Yeah.
feel,
the
you don't
body-
get the
yeah, body
anxiety.
It's really good for muscle regeneration when you
Oh,
recovering from workouts. It's very good.
I don't work out.
Okay, that's good.
I literally don't do anything.
Do you
I just
have-
eat Tim Tams.
Insomnia? Do you have trouble
I
sleeping?
do, yeah.
That will put you out.
And I'm on antidepressants, so I was hoping to like wean off them and just go on something
Get
more
on the
natural.
CBD, but do it safely, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I did start to wean off my antidepressants and then I just felt fucking awful. And then someone said to me, why are you doing that? You need to normally go on the CBD oil and then wean off once you've acclimatized.
While you're doing CBD oil.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should have seen a doctor.
I wish that shit was just legal. You know?
Well, it's not. There's a really, I guess it sort of is legal, isn't it?
in a
Like
way.
I'm getting it from a GP.
There are doctors now in Perth that will do
Yeah.
medical
I can
marijuana
tell
consultations.
you.
But
Yeah.
you have to have a legit condition. though,
Well,
right?
there's two things I look at. So I didn't know this because the doctor was fishing for me. It's one, is what you have, is there a need for it? So for me, I said, I've got anxiety. And he said, yep, you can get it. But two, what you're using at the moment or whatever you're on at the moment isn't working for you. And then that I what's the word? Satisfied both criteria.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can give you his name.
Really?
Yeah, he's in Yokan. He's the head of Green Pharma.
Is
I
that
can't
like
remember
a...
his name. Kosterich, Dr. Kosterich. Oh, shout
Oh,
out.
shout out.
Dr. Kosterich.
Wait, hang on. So does he earn like a...
He's a GP at a medical clinic.
Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
so you can
But
write-
he doesn't get, I don't think he gets a commission or anything, but he's like, oh, just letting you know I am the head of Green Pharma. I'm like, yeah, I know, that's why I'm coming to you.
It's
Because you know your shit.
I'm not a doctor, but the amount of people that I'm like, man, you would benefit from
Yeah.
some CBD. You know, those really highly strung people that are just on.
I think
1,000
there's so
different
many when
things.
people hear like talk about CBD, they think, "Oh, I don't want to get high and
Well,
I
there's
don't
no
want to have
high,
hallucinations." But yeah, people don't realize the whole medical basis.
Well, my friend that got me onto it, she's in her 50s.
Mm-hmm.
She's super, I wouldn't say she's conservative, but she's got her shit together. Like she doesn't drink or take drugs. And she's like, Sarah, I've got to tell you something. And I'm like, what? She's like, I'm on CBD oil. I was like, what the fuck? She's like, yeah, it's helping my back so much.
I'm
It's
calling
amazing.
the cops right away.
And I was like, who even are you? Like,
Yeah.
when did you? But
Get off the street, junkie.
I'm a big fan of people that research things for me because I'm not very detail focused. So I was like, well, I went to the doctor she went to because
Mm-hmm.
she recommended him and she'd done the work.
There's so many benefits. Like as an anti-inflammatory, it's one of the
Yeah,
best
really.
things. Like you can even
For my workouts.
apply it topically. yeah, the workouts
I'm
that
just
you
going
don't
to
do.
like douse myself with it.
There's even shit that you can put on your genitals that
Ew.
makes it tingle.
Always about the genitals. Do you know, I just fantasize about having it in tea. I just want to have a nice
Yeah,
cup of tea.
you can have that.
Have a few drops.
There's soda,
Soda.
sorry, this is more the high stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like lollipops, candies, all that shit. Yeah.
Cake,
See,
make butter.
all that
Yeah.
stuff, I kind of enjoy it, but then I can't write and it frustrates me. So, like, it will take me 2 hours to write something that would normally take 45 minutes.
Yeah, because you write shit, right?
Yeah. And, like, it's meant to be good.
Yeah.
Like, people say how, like, it's good for your creativity, but maybe it's different for musicians as for writers. Like, if you're jamming out jazz or something,
the jazz.
is that what you say?
I don't know.
Jamming out the jazz.
Jamming out
You're
jazz.
jamming out jazz.
I haven't heard that term used since the
Ever.
1920s.
No, playing
Holy shit.
guitars high is kind of scary because if something goes wrong, you can't work out what it is that's wrong.
Oh, okay.
At least with drums, it's just you like hitting a stick. You realize that you're not actually holding your stick. But when something
Not
goes
again.
when something
Where's
goes
my
wrong with the
stick?
guitar, you then got to like follow the whole sort of
yeah,
technical
yeah.
diagram to work out where this sounds.
Where the problem is.
I've
yeah.
had freakouts.
Oh
before.
god, yeah. It's basically yeah, I know.
That sounds awful.
I just realized how deaf I am.
You are deaf.
I think I am deaf. Yeah, I hit pretty hard.
So sorry for your loss.
Hit the drums
hearing
pretty
loss.
hard. Yeah,
Have you got your tinnitus yet?
I think I block it out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I block it out pretty well. But yeah, there are times when I'm like, fuck. I think a lot of the top end has gone
The
from
cilia have gone.
they're all flat.
It's like
Because once they go flat, they don't come back.
Yeah, they don't come
Yeah.
back, man.
Sad.
That's
once you go flat, you don't come back.
But
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
what that was my
Yeah,
saying.
okay.
oh, you
I'll
just
let you
stop.
have it.
Because I've wanted to do one of those sensory deprivation things.
Like in a float tank.
Yeah, float tanks, those type of things. But
Okay.
I know that as soon as it goes shut, it's just.
Yeah.
But apparently you can hear, because I've written about it once, is you can hear all sorts of things. So some people hear chainsaws. Not
I
just a...
Remember Gus Warburton from TAFE, and he was like, "My mate here's a chainsaw."
Do you know how fucked that is?
That
You're like
is
in
fucked.
like a horror movie all the time.
That is
Yeah.
fucked.
What does a
up.
chainsaw
Yeah.
sound like? I can't roll my ass.
A grinding noise. Yeah, like
Yeah.
all I get is like a high pitched tone every now and
Yeah.
again. But yeah,
I
No,
hear
like-
it after concerts, but I'm not. Like, I've been to a lot of concerts, but I definitely like standing up there. If you were with a band, that would be way
Yeah.
more hardcore.
No, I have it 24/7. I can
Really?
hear it right now.
Yeah.
right now.
All the time I can hear it.
I hear the voice of my father yelling at me all the time.
Really?
Yeah, in my head.
I hear
All
my
the
mother
time,
telling me I'm a piece of shit sometimes.
But I've had
both got issues. I
I've heard it's when like you're so used to a certain pitch happening all the time that when you hear when it suddenly clicks in a different pitch, like I've actually sort of like looked over my shoulder.
Oh,
and
it's
freaked out,
changed
wait,
pitch.
Yeah. Well, no, I get another one just like
Oh my god, does it harmonize?
sometimes, and then your whole ear just goes blocked, like you've
my
just gone
God.
underwater,
Yeah,
and then it slowly
comes back.
It's fucked up.
And
But
I
the
sit
thing
there,
is,
I'm just like,
Yeah, I've had that.
when you're in your
Okay.
early 20s, people tell you about that, but you don't listen.
yeah, because you're
So,
a
like-
rebel, because you're a
'cause
fucking
you're like,
rebel.
Fuck you, man! I'm ready
Loud
to rock.
music.
That's
yeah.
a later problem.
If it's too loud, you're too old, and I might be too old now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No, never too old.
never too old.
I have
That's why I want to learn
so
sign
bad.
language. I want to learn how to actually.
Learn ASL. Go to a class. You can learn that.
Do you watch Dark?
I have to watch Dark. People have been pushing me to watch Dark.
I've been watching it. Oh, there's a deaf girl in Dark, and they do sign language.
It's good, right? Good.
I've been pretty into it, but third season, like it's really hard to write a script.
spoil it.
I'm not. It's really hard to write a script that traverses different times, but they actually cast the characters so well. Like they have very similar characteristics, so they look similar, which I really appreciate. But then third season, it's just getting a bit far, and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? When it gets, I
Yeah.
think certain series need to stop at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to have a break from it. Also, I'm watching the subtitled version because I hate dubbed.
I can't do
Shows.
subtitles. I can't do subtitles.
Well, it's actually amazing because you watch something that goes for 45 minutes and it feels like it goes so much longer because normally when I'm watching something, I'm also on my phone.
Mm.
What?
Yeah, like I go on multiple screens.
Okay, yeah. No, I get that.
But it's weird because when I'm watching something subtitled, I'm totally in the moment.
Mm.
I like to hear, like, when people... Because, like, in the script, people will refer to stuff, but sometimes you don't hear it. Like, you don't really register it.
Yeah.
But I feel when you read the script, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, you take it
learn,
in.
you know how, like, even the spelling of a character's name, like, you're like, oh, I didn't know it was spelled that way.
Yeah, like they're
Yeah.
like Mikkel, but then like, or like, what is one of their names? Marta, but we would say Martha.
Yeah.
I feel like I could totally speak German. Do you know the other funny thing is? I was thinking how beautiful the German language is. And I'm like, why did I never think that? Because most of the German I hear spoken is in like World War II movies. So they're like mad,
Achtung,
angry.
schnell.
They're angry Nazis. So that's the
Exactly.
only German I get to hear.
Yeah.
So chill German is actually really lovely. Almost
Yeah.
sounds a bit French.
Oh, yeah. I think... No, but do you know, like...
Nazi German, not so great.
there's something about the Arabic language that's kind of sexy as well. You know, like or like the use of the that
Oh,
yeah.
I'm terrible with that.
Everyone in that area uses that fucking awesome. And
Do you know?
it's such a like underused thing. We should adopt that.
We don't use that in our language. Do you
We
want to hear
don't.
a fact?
Yeah.
So apparently when you're born, for a period of time, as a baby, you can utilize every sound possible for every language in the world. And then you hone to whatever your language is.
Yeah, you tune to it, right?
So like,
Yeah.
you know how like, I find it really embarrassing, like trying to do a French, like a noise,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oui, oui.
Or
si, si.
Hebrew or
Yeah.
Arabic.
Yeah.
Croissant.
Because it, croissant or whatever.
Croissant.
It just feels embarrassing. But then like when we were babies, we could totally rock that.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating how
That's
smart we
fascinating.
were before we were?
I think we get dumber.
We do.
I think we're at our pinnacle when we're born, and we just get fucking
And then
stupid.
well, apparently like up to 3, we are the most intelligent because we use all of our senses to take in information.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why they learn so fast
Yep, and that's why like a lot of our personality is shaped in those years.
in those.
Yeah.
And like when you teach an adult, like I used to teach horse riding and I used to teach kids and they would just feel it and get it. Adults would be like, but why? But why?
Yeah.
And you'd have to intellectualize everything for them to get it.
Exactly. It's almost reductionist in a way, right?
What does that mean?
Like they whittle it down. Like
Yeah.
as adults, we
Yeah.
need like instruction.
Yeah, we need
And
to
stuff
get
like that.
everything.
Exactly,
Whereas
yeah.
kids just feel it and they just get
Yeah.
it, which is why like I wish my parents had like
Yeah.
got me to just skateboard, surf, and do all the cool things when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I'd be badass as an adult.
Were they really protective of that, or
No.
they just never really?
No, my parents were pretty fine. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I also feel like even like the lack of inhibition is that
Yeah.
pure joy. That's the most
Yeah.
pure that you are ever going to be, probably. You know.
Yeah, I feel so dirty as an adult.
And I think a lot of adult life is trying to seek that purity
Yes,
again, right?
You're so right. Like just being in that moment. And I think
Yeah.
going back to those things that you loved as a kid, like being in the ocean and just being in the waves and
Mm-hmm.
all you're concerned about is not getting dumped. You know? And it is just like that purity.
And now you're worried about sharks and bits
Yeah.
of
Oh, I
plastic
worry about
and
sharks
all bits and
constantly.
pieces.
And now you're also
It's
worried
like-
about getting dumped.
Not anymore. That's why I'm single. Not getting dumped.
Yeah.
Not this time.
Yeah. Nah, fuck that. You got
Um,
plenty of time. Plenty of time. Wait, maybe you don't.
I don't know. It depends what you want. So
because women
because I want to have babies and I'm
women-
34, so I need to get that.
women have
shit
that
going.
biological clock. Yeah.
And so do men. Like apparently initially the biological clock referred to men and women, but then I think as like a form of misogyny, they just pushed it onto women.
About the
To
baby.
make them be
the baby.
fearful.
The
I
baby
learned
thing, yeah.
I learned from Dr. Phil that women have the biological clock
Men
and
do
men
too.
have a financial clock.
What?
Yes.
Men also have a biological clock. I mean, it's less intense, but also what's the financial clock? Please discuss.
The idea that men won't settle down and be ready to be fathers and husbands and stuff until they till they know that they can financially afford to do so.
Yeah, I can see that unless I accidentally knock someone up.
Oh, you mean like the incentive behind women is a biological one, but the
men it's
incentive,
financial.
it's when
That's
they're-
why I
yeah,
get pissed
yeah.
off with like saying on a dating app and it's like they're 40 and they're like, yeah, I'm just ready to settle down. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. You just settle down whenever you want. Like,
Yeah, that's true because it's like, oh, I determine when I
yeah,
want to fucking
exactly.
settle down.
Whereas
right?
like
yeah.
a lot of my friends don't want to have kids. So it's actually kind of cool being surrounded by a lot of my friends have their own creative businesses. They're just badasses. They're older than me. They don't want to have kids. So I like that. But then I'm one of those people that's always known that I want to have kids. So I'm like, over the past few months, I've sort of had to let go and go, well, maybe you won't. Because I also know that I want to choose the right person because I think you're responsible to your future children to choose the right partner. And I've nearly had
so
kids.
true.
Like I nearly had kids with one of my exes. And then I went, I don't think it's a good idea.
You don't want his eyebrows. You don't want your
Oh
kid
no,
to have
he
his
actually had
eyebrows.
fabulous eyebrows. But I was more like, I don't want to be responsible for earning all the money and then looking after the kid and then looking after him.
But it's that guidance and leadership, you know, that sort of stuff that isn't talked about, you know, like,
Yeah.
especially with
Yeah.
maybe our parents sometimes, like they had kids on the whim.
Yeah,
or
it was what
they
you
fell
did.
into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like I'm shocked at like this is really when my mum was like, we didn't know, we just had kids, you know.
Yeah, you just did it. And it's a
But
different time.
For us now, it's like that responsibility
imagine-
to me is
Can you
such a
imagine-
big thing. I would
I
not
know.
take it that lightly. Like, you're raising another fucking human
Yeah.
here. You know?
Could you imagine if I had kids right now? We're like, this was what we were still doing.
I think you'd be a good
Mm,
dad.
fucking
And I
think.
think from what I can see of men, and this might be a generalization, is no one's ever ready. And neither is the woman, but maybe they have to like be a bit more step up to the plate
Yeah.
because they're fucking growing it in their bodies.
Hey, well, if I had to fucking build something, I mean, I feel like I'm pregnant because I feel so
Yeah, I
fat,
feel you, I
and
feel
I can
you.
shit out a watermelon
Ew.
after having a Nando's.
Ew. Stop talking about Nando's. Are they sponsoring you or are you doing this for free like
not
you did
yet,
with Uber?
not yet.
No,
They fucking will.
We've just lost it.
But I do feel like with men, I'm just going to close off my statement, is that like often they aren't ready, but then they just have them and they just step up.
Well,
Yeah, no,
You
you're
know what I
right.
mean?
I-
Like
yeah,
that's what
I
I've seen
understand
with
that,
so
yeah.
many dudes that I know, and
Yeah.
they're amazing dads. But then if you ask them before they knew that their partners were pregnant, they'd be like, I'm not ready. And it's like, how do you be ready?
And 100% of guys that I know fully love the fact that they have kids now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone that is.
that's like, oh, fuck that little
well,
shit.
maybe they're just not admitting
or
it.
you could just.
I'm not
or-
even going to vaccinate him. He can suck a dick and get polio.
Or can't you just go down to the Disney store and buy some?
Some children.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh my god.
I don't get it. Is this like, what? Is this a conspiracy
This is
theory?
this whole thing that like
Is this the Jonas Brothers?
The Disney.
Disney is basically
network.
a glorified child trafficking.
Like on
network.
South Park, how they have like, is it Mickey Mouse and he's like making the Jonas Brothers?
yeah.
No, have you seen that
I
one?
haven't seen that one,
Oh,
but that
okay.
sounds a lot like
He's
Disney
like,
to
make
me.
their joinies tingle. And he like sexualizes the Jonas Brothers to make them like,
That's so bad.
it's pretty
Yeah.
funny, but
Yeah.
it makes Disney look
But no,
pretty evil.
I
This
agree.
is, this is the thing as well.
no
Like,
one's really ready to have kids yet. Yeah,
well,
I
what's
agree.
stopping? So, like, can I go down to the adoption agency and say, yeah, I want to adopt a kid?
Have a go. Let's see. Next podcast.
Should we do it?
Do it.
See if I can have it.
What are you going to call him? Mission Control.
Call him Jeff.
Jeff.
There's a couple of
Tim.
requirements. There's a couple of requirements.
Yeah, I'm sure there is psychological requirements, which I'll probably fail.
No, I think you have to be in a partnership. You can't just be one dude and get
That
a kid.
sucks. I'd be a great single mum.
Well, can I just say that you're my gay lover, and that we want to get a kid together
I thought that was
to help
the case.
to help go bring the beers in, and help the guests in. And,
You're gonna,
I think as long as a kid has love,
yeah.
you know, that's
That's
all
the
that
most important
matters.
thing.
well,
That's the most important thing.
And they need to be
Yeah.
seen and loved. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not a parent, but I figure that's the case.
No, and
I'm so not building a case for my future baby mama, but
No, I feel this may be getting deep, but like a lot of the Asian culture, like they had kids and they instilled a very like rigid, like vision of what the kids should do.
yeah.
But I think that happens in a lot of households. It's not really a race thing, but I do know like I
Yeah.
think Italian, Jewish, like we all have a lot in
Well,
common. You know,
ooh.
in
I
terms
think,
of like
and I think like it's all backed by the parents wanting their kids to be as successful or happy as
That's
they
it.
can. But unfortunately,
That's
that's not really how it works.
exactly, yeah.
when
yeah,
you know
yeah.
how there's the whole thing that China's like very populated now, having lots of kids and the one child rule and stuff. Does that mean the Chinese people are just having lots of sex?
This is a
Well, how does
lot
that
of
work?
them. There's just
Having
a lot
lots
of
of
them.
sex.
Was it just a lot of people? But what the one child rule? So if one family had more than one child, what's the average kid that families have in China? Like,
You mean like the amount of kids?
yeah,
But when did the one child policy come in?
That's
I
been
don't
up
fucking
there
know.
for a while.
For a
while. Yeah.
Is
That's
it
what I
true
mean,
that
like-
they like got rid of the girls?
I think they did.
Like did they do that in India too?
There's a lot. There's so much
Well, you
dark
think
shit
back
happening
to the
in China,
fucking old
yeah.
times where they come out, girl, throw it away, boy, you're the king.
Yeah.
Well,
some
they-
shit like that. But,
this
but,
is-
but what I'm going back at is the whole idea that the Asian population have lots and lots of babies. Is it because they're having lots and lots of sex?
No, it's
And
just a
can
lot
I
of
go
them.
there?
Or maybe they're having unprotected
and
sex.
contribute?
Yes, you can go there. Not saying anyone will have sex with you, but maybe they will.
Hey man, you want to
Maybe you can have one special child.
you want to mix up the gene pool? Go ahead. But no, I think it was just like the number of them, the sheer number of them. I don't know though how that started, like why there's so many people there. But
Is a one-child
Or
policy
is it like
still a
there's
thing?
just more? Their history goes back further.
A lot, yeah.
Like we white people
but
in
that-
Australia started in 19.
No, but no, I understand that there's
I was
probably
going to say
there's probably
1990.
a lot of couples. There's more couples that are having kids over there.
Do they use contraception? It's not like Catholicism in Ireland.
I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah.
But the fact that they had to bring in a one-child rule to prevent the families having more kids.
What if you have
So one
twins?
family having more kids. Well,
I think that was
pick the
more,
better one. Like which?
Do you want me to be? I think that was more of a fucking like communism gone wild type.
Yeah,
thing.
I like how you say that.
They tied. If you had a girl, they would tie the feet. They would torture the girls, and there's a lot of organ harvesting, a lot of weird shit with children going missing in
Ooh, the
China.
organs harvesting. That's not-
That's a deeper rabbit hole. But I think that like I'll be blunt. I think when you have a certain political regime,
Yeah.
it's gonna create a lot of demons like that shit. But it's
That's really sad.
But it's also gone a little bit under. Somehow they've managed to like skate by.
Well, that's
and
what I
no
mean.
one really wants to
Is it-
criticize China. Like
But is
everyone's
it still a
fucking
thing?
scared.
Is the one-child policy still a thing in China?
I think it still is to an extent, but maybe
It's
not.
just not enforced as much.
as
Isn't
much.
it?
Yeah.
But we rely on China so much. Like, no
Yeah.
wonder we let them get away with so much.
No one wants to
because
rock the boat.
We have no manufacturing
Yeah,
over here.
that's another thing as well.
Like, where
yeah.
would Kmart be?
Pretty
Like,
much, yeah.
it's weird how much I felt the impact of China during COVID.
Where would all our devices
Because it hit
be?
me. Like, I went to get a sandwich press and I'm like, where are all the sandwich presses? And then I'm like, Sarah, where are all the sandwich presses made? Oh.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we better be nice to them if we want our sandwich presses.
Yeah.
But isn't it ironic that, like, the things in the countries that we want the most have the worst human rights records? Like, is that
That's so-
irony to the max?
I think it's designed that way.
My brain can't get around it. Like,
Mm.
it makes...
It's all money.
It
It's all
is,
money
yeah.
because to them, $1 an hour is a fucking shit ton.
Yeah, but
And
then
if they get less money and-
they're treating their workers like shit. Like, I went to Cotton On. It's where I got this jumper. So I'm wearing like a shameful jumper because the T-shirt that I wanted to buy was from Bangladesh, and I'm like, well, that's clearly made in some factory, so the jumper probably is.
Mm.
But I didn't buy the T-shirt because it was too obvious to me that it was made by children. I know children need jobs too.
Yeah.
Like, that's a funny joke I say, but it's not really a joke.
Mm.
Because children don't need jobs.
They don't.
They need to
should
live.
should we
a
hand over
childhood.
all the jobs to the robots and then the people don't
Well,
make
why
any
don't we just
money?
give
and then,
the jobs to
and
the
then
adults?
and then they can't feed their families.
The children just need to live and be educated.
We have the capability of paying people correctly, but we just choose not to. People fucking choose not to.
Because it's like, if you were to buy an iPhone for the actual cost it took to make it, it would cost like $5,000 or something.
I beg
no
to
one would
differ.
buy it.
I beg to differ. I
Please,
reckon it would be
beg.
about $500.
Beg.
But $200
But I'm not
yeah.
allowed to say that.
No, but that's a big thing. It's a well-known, essentially a well-known fact in Chinese manufacturing is that the reason people use China as a manufacturing is that they can manufacture a product for essentially half the price, if not less, and still charge a shit ton for it. Therefore, they make more money. They can give the Chinese people a little bit of money, which is still more money to them.
Yeah.
You know, so you are paying like, you know, a 300% markup on pretty much
So
any
you're saying my
product that comes out
sandwich
of
press
China.
would cost like $3?
Yeah.
I actually think things are way, like inflation, like cost of things. That's all the psychology as well within itself. I think.
The way those places churn the stuff out, it's just it's like cutting off a slice of bread.
Yeah. I guess I just feel like
bread.
we forget about the people having to actually make them who are in shitty conditions, working long hours for fuck all,
Yeah.
making
For
Air
things that-
Jordans.
For things that you don't even think about, like tea and coffee. Like,
Yeah.
that's fucking
I
insane.
know, but
man.
this is going to be my other side is because we sit here, we make what average $20 to $30 an hour for our jobs. So, and when we see someone over there getting paid 50 cents an hour, we go, oh, you know, they're not getting paid very well. But isn't there a perspective to, like I'm saying, to them, that 50 cents an hour is actually a lot of money?
Not necessarily. I think it is more money. 50 cents an hour over there is more than over here, but I still think that a lot of them are living in poverty and being exploited. So I think there needs to be some kind of a balance.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, let's
the
give them
exploitation of
$9
it.
an
Yeah,
hour
yeah,
and an 8-hour work day.
And like a lot of people don't even choose to work there. They're just like they're sent there
Yeah.
by their families, and they're
What bugs me is the whole idea of getting kids to work. You know, these.
Because they got the little hands.
Yeah, but kids should be out having fun and breaking legs and getting vaccinated and stuff. Yeah, and not working in a factory. Oh yeah.
Wondering about their dead sister.
Oh my god.
That got-
Up.
So I can't help it. Can't help it.
Are we gonna go to the strip club or what? No, okay.
No, we are. Let's go. We're going to a
I'm
strip
scared.
club.
I'm scared.
It'll be fun.
Do you want to plug your podcast one more time?
Well, I don't know if anyone will listen to it now after they've heard me talking. Of course, shit for an hour and a half.
If anyone
They're
is
just gonna go give it a 1-star review, and I'll just freak out.
it'll be that one guy giving you that 1-star review. No,
It'll
if
be
anyone's going to
Johnny.
fuck up the podcast, it's going to be us.
No, you won't. Well, if you are interested,
Yes.
search "Fuck Off and Die" with an asterisk on the U on Apple, Spotify, Acast, or wherever you get your podcasts, and you can hear Jade and I talk shit. Especially if you're going through heartbreak, recommend it to someone who is
That's
fucking
awesome.
sad. It's a bit of crack to get you through.
I think it's good. I think it's good.
Thank you.
I like it. The fact that you walk the walk out of all the people that aren't walking the walk.
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
go through the breakups. I go through the deep places.
No, we need more of that. Yeah, and this is fun, man. Like fucking having you on.
Oh,
I
it's
forgot-
so
I
fun to
forgot.
be here. I love you guys.
I forgot how fucking funny it was to have you.
I just have no filter. It's a problem.
No, that's what you need. Because
Thank
I
you.
still have it's a constant struggle to like break down my filter. I think I still have a lot of shit up sometimes. And
Well,
I'll-
there's certain things
trying to
you want to
erode-
share and certain things. Like last time I was on the podcast, I got in trouble by the guy I was seeing at the time.
What?
Remember
Oh.
I talked about what his semen tasted like, and he said, "Sarah, that was inappropriate, so I had to get you to black it out." This is why I can't be in a relationship, because I don't know how to not talk about what's happening with them.
But you inspire me in a whole different way, which is awesome. Like, yeah, we got to get our shit together. We got to get on the network.
Yeah, get on it.
Let's-
Get on it.
Or we
or
probably
make your own
We'll
one.
probably create one.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Great one.
Do we want? No. Well, like Mission Control Podcast, you can find it on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify.
Apple Podcasts.
I said iTunes.
Bit of
isn't it?
YouTube. iTunes, yeah. Hey, we're going to be moving to Patreon as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to have a lot more content. Probably twice as much. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're going to do it.
You're going to do it, and then people need to give you money.
We want
Yeah.
your
You
money.
deserve money.
We
You
want
guys
your money.
work
We want
hard.
your respect. We demand your respect
They
and your
don't-
money.
They don't need your respect. They just need your money.
Yeah, we just need your money.
I'll give you some money.
No, we just need to. Well, we need to replace. No, we don't need to replace. I don't know.
Who are you replacing?
A camera.
Daryl.
No, we're
Oh.
replacing camera. No, but basically it's...
we need some SD cards. Yeah, we need an SD card. So we're
I
gonna
think it's
take
good
all
to
the
ask
money.
for money for your art, because art is important.
we just came to a point where it's like, you know what? We think this is worth $1.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or,
Yeah.
or whatever
For
amount.
some reason, being an artist
know.
comes with low self-esteem.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
I just proved
And mental
it.
illness.
I proved it just by charging $1. Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Under
$10.
Valak.
I did a support page, and my minimum was $5,
Yeah.
which I thought was low.
Yeah. I mean,
we might do about $5.
Do $5.
$5 a month for.
And then if they give you
all
$1,
the
you're
deep
stoked.
that's
dive.
fine. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're in China, that's like a year's wage.
That's a lot of rice to compare
Then when
with that.
Johnny moves to China to make his
Like the babies.
baby, he's going to be set.
Because hey, it's okay to legitimize what you do, and it's okay
Yes.
to say, hey, we need some help.
Yeah. We need to buy some noodles.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and a yacht,
So
so we can fly it. So we can don't fly
Fly our yacht.
fly our yacht to China.
Yeah.
Get a submarine.
Yeah.
Get Ghislaine.
One
Johnny-
baby for you. One baby for you.
Johnny's
one baby
like-
Oh
for
my
you.
god.
One baby for you.
I love it. Thank you. I'm totally vaccinated.
Thank you, Sarah, for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, everyone, check out her podcast, her and Jade's podcast. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Crack some more on drugs for me.
If we
Yeah?
Can.
Yeah. We got some juice. Thanks for coming, though. That was awesome.
Oh, it was such a pleasure. Let's go look at some naked women. And men. There's a male strip club there too.
So downstairs.
Yeah.
Crank it. Yeah.
How long did we talk for?
1 hour 30. 1 hour 30. Fair enough. No, not at all. Not at all. We were worried that you were worried about it.
I just don't. I just want to sound I always feel like
Hey,
I'm
Sarah.
low enough.
I'm on the podcast.
I'm sorry for being mean to you.
No, but it's